What's poppin', y'all? Coil Ray recently caught a hit, an actual hit. That was a solo hit, which shocked probably the majority of us. The song Players, it's peaked at number 9. That was last week. It's at number 10 right now. The reason it dropped was because there's some new guy at number 1. Well, he's not new, but Jimin, who I believe is a Korean pop act. This is one of his solo songs. If I recall correctly, he's part of the pop group BTS. His fans went all out. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep him up there as number 1, but that's why she ended up moving down a spot. But it's only down 1 spot. This song's been gaining traction for quite a while. A lot of people are crediting it to the Jersey Club remix, when that's not necessarily the case. The song that they're playing on the radio, for the most part, is the regular song, or the original. The song with the most streams on Spotify, with over 180 million right now, is the original song. So the remix is not the reason why it's popular. Sure, it may have given it a new life, because this song, for the first couple of weeks that it was out, wasn't really taking off until that remix came out, and then it started gaining traction and people went back to the original song. So I will say it contributed, but that's not the all-encompassing reason. Now, this confused me for a lot of different reasons. Like, we've had a bunch of different conversations about Coil Ray. She got a lot of hate. Some pushback was justifiable, especially with how she handled the XXL freshman list and then the feedback from that. And there's a lot to say in that realm. But she really kept at it. And the amount of failed singles that they tried to turn into hits for Coil Ray is quite a long list. I mean, off rip, that we can remember, there's Blick Blick with Nicki, and I think that song peaked maybe at number 19. I'm not gonna look it up, but it wasn't higher than 19. I know that for sure. It might have even been in like 29 or something like that. I'm lying. I actually looked it up. It was 37. So it barely cracked the top 40, and that was its peak position, and then it would soon fall off. And that's with a Nicki Minaj feature. That's with music video and everything involved, and that still didn't take off. And at that moment, I think a lot of us were thinking, yo, this thing is cooked. If a Nicki Minaj feature with a song that wasn't bad can't take off as a hit, what can? But the bankroll for Republic Records into Coil Ray did not stop, which is one of the most surprising things ever. Before Blick Blick, she had Big Purr with Pooh Shiesty. That didn't really do too hot. The one song that she had before that was with Lil Durk, No More Parties, or the remix was with Lil Durk. That, I believe, is the one that peaked at number 26 and went platinum. That one performed well, especially on radio. I don't know why it went platinum, because the streams were relatively low, maybe like 48 million when it ended up going platinum, which is why I think radio play had a lot to do with that. Then she had another single she tried. It was At the Top with Kodak Black and DJ Mustard. That didn't really go anywhere, didn't really gain much traction. She had Twinning, which was one of those nursery rhyme-esque songs that you would think Lil Yachty made back in 2015. That kind of went viral on TikTok. I'm pretty sure it went very viral on TikTok, but it didn't translate into streams. People didn't really stream the song. The song didn't chart at all. I think they tried to get DaBaby on the remix to, at this point, prop it up a little bit, and that didn't even work too well, so that song ended up being a dud overall. Then she dropped this song, Anxiety, which I believed was one of her best songs. I talked about it in a video previously. I thought it was a really great song by Coil Ray. That didn't end up charting. Then she also had Flyish. That song they were putting some promotion behind. She was teasing it for a while. I thought it was a good hook. That didn't catch on either. And then, when all else fails, try to remix an older song. And that's the criticism I feel like a lot of people are giving Coil Ray. And I'm not going to give her that criticism, honestly. I think, sure, it contributed. The fact that this is an old hit, we know it's a hit. Take it and do something with it in the modern day. Now, do I enjoy the song myself? Not really. I don't like listening to it. I do acknowledge that, okay, this is a good song. I can see people enjoy this because it really is kind of like interpolation. But that's not always guaranteed to work. The answer that we've all been waiting for to the question, can putting enough money behind a certain artist over an elapsed period of time generate a hit eventually? And I think we're seeing the answer is yes. Because Coil Ray has not had a hit for 3 years. No More Parties was a hit. Let me not knock her. No More Parties was a hit, but after that, it was cold. But they just kept putting money behind her, putting money behind her. And one of the questions that we've consistently had on this channel was why, when a lot of other artists would have been dropped by their second or third attempt at a failed hit single, especially when the album sales were abysmal, to say the least. So bankroll clearly may be one of the most important elements in succeeding in music, because that helped her a lot. I also think the fact that she was constantly willing to keep throwing stuff at the wall, like she kept making music. She was very persistent with how much adversity she faced. I think out of any female artist that I can recall, she faced the most adversity in the past 5-6 years. Because people like Cardi B, maybe they got more hate, but they also had a lot more success. Coi Leray was getting a lot of hate/criticism, and she wasn't really having that success. So you couldn't even fall back on anything. And then when you're cold and people are not paying attention to you, to constantly release, you've got to have some mental fortitude to do that, which is what she did. And she kind of stopped trying to fight the mob or go back and forth with the internet or try to win with the internet, which isn't going to happen. And now she's got herself a hit. She's carrying it well. They're doing everything in the book with this song. They've got 15 remixes. They're doing it like it's beatbox. They've got a David Guetta remix. They're probably going to have any type of genre that you can think. They're probably going to do a remix for the song, which is cool. Capitalize on it as much as you can. However, in preparation for this video, which I'm going to give Coi Leray even more credit once again, is that she's kind of blowing up with no real support, network. It's kind of solo. Because think to yourself, like for example, let's say Lotto, female artist or rapper. She gets enlisted on a lot of features with other people. She has a bunch of features herself. Sure, Coi Leray has had features, but those features you could tell didn't really mess with her like that. Like Pooh Shiesty, like obviously they cut him a check for the feature. Kodak, DaBaby. Do you really believe these guys said, yo, I mess with Coi Leray, I want to get on her song. It can do something for me. Nah, they obviously probably just paid for that because she didn't appear on their songs. And that's to give her credit because she pretty much kind of did this solo as her own little island as opposed to other artists where they're kind of in a crew or a cosign circle, I like to call it, where they all heat each other up. It's like the cheerleader effect, but for music. So a bunch of people that are mid in popularity hang around each other or surround each other, and then they get elevated a little bit. Coi Leray, the last song that I believe she was featured on was the 2055 remix by Sleepy Hollow, which was a massive song, a great song. I was a little bit surprised why he would enlist her as a feature at that point. This was one of the worst periods of time, and they put her on the feature. She did her thing on it, though. But other than that, who has gotten Coi Leray featured on their music? I think she was on a DDG and Lakia song, but no real A or even B-list rappers. Are we considering DDG a B-list rapper? I don't know if that's too high for him. Obviously, he's not an A-list rapper. Coi Leray, I would say, is probably B-list right now, considering she's caught a hit. I don't want to take shots at DDG or try to denigrate him in any way. But I'm asking, do you guys think now that Coi Leray has a hit, will more people start to enlist her in features? More people within her popularity level? That's something that I'd really like to see. Also, how they're going to capitalize on this in terms of the follow-up. For example, Ice Spice didn't have a hit like this. Munch didn't even chart. It was really big, but she kept following it up with music. I'm pretty sure they're going to do the label thing where they work this record a lot by Coi Leray, try to make it last as much as possible. But I don't know if she's going to release an EP. I don't know if she's going to follow it up with the single. I don't know if she's going to do a tour or tour with somebody. That'd probably be in her best interest. I could see her doing that towards the latter half of the year. But everything is looking favorable for her right now. And we got to give her some credit, man. We came at Coi Leray when she was catching nothing but L's. She's caught a massive W, a top 10 single, solo, no features, no nothing. That deserves its round of applause. And it would be hypocritical of us to just try to close a blind eye, try to make an excuse like, yo, she's just like Saweetie. They're just remixing old songs. Well, Saweetie remixed old songs, and she never got a top 10. So clearly, Coi Leray did something right here. Congrats to her. And let me know what y'all think in the comments. Why aren't more people enlisting Coi Leray as a feature? Because artists that aren't even as big as her, female artists, they get featured on other people's songs a lot. And I do think Coi Leray is good enough as a feature to add something to a lot of songs.